But I was saying before we started rolling that we used to pretty much just have whatever candies you got, which we talked a lot about the candies, and Dunkin' donuts were always the
Yes.
holiday themed ones, and that's what we've talked about too much. I really feel like a lot of these treats I've made you guys taste are a pretty new concept. Like I don't remember a lot of seasonal brands that I would recognize coming out with seasonal products for Halloween when I was younger.
A way to get more money out of the brand, That's all it is.
Halloween might carry with it more nostalgia than it even did when we were kids.
See, they do show a chocolate one or something
It's a little
on
misleading.
the box.
I think that nowadays, like nostalgia in general is a huge business, right?
Oh, yeah,
No matter
especially-
what.
And I think maybe that's the case because,
Things are so much better documented.
yeah, so there's probably some of that. There's probably the fact that we're the ones, our age group, spending money, and when we were children in the 80s, things were pretty commodified.
Yeah,
So we're nostalgic for products and for services.
yeah,
And then I would also say that living online, social media.
You're constantly exposed.
Well, I think that you're actually. I think the life blends together. You stop sort of knowing what day it is after a while, and I think like the seasons like give a very necessary segmentation to things.
yeah. I agree. I mean, that's why I wouldn't want to live somewhere that was basically seasonless.
I think you make a really good point about our generation. I think previous generations were nostalgic for like home cooked meals and things with their family, and then our generation, because
Products.
of TV and commercials, products that can be reproducible and that they can sell back to us.
Do you think nostalgia is like a relatively new marketing technique, or has it always been? Because people in power and people in money kind of understand that if you're selling a product, they understand that as you get older, you feel kind of shittier about your life. So let's offer a product that kind of brings you back.
Well,
to
I mean,
a
no
better
doubt,
time in your life.
no doubt that there's some of that. But I mean, in the '80s, people were nostalgic for the '50s, and
Yeah.
I mean, there's always. I think nostalgia's always been a business, but I think, what makes us unique maybe is that in the '80s it was all, service based.
Specifically for selling.
Yeah. Like to Nina's point, like where you can actually just make those things again.
Like not just, hey, we're nostalgic for sledding. And do you remember when your mom would make you hot chocolate on a snow day and a snowman? We're like, no, I had the Dreamweaver Barbie and she turned into a fairy and now you can sell that back to me.
Yeah.
It makes for collectibles too. So my dad bought a Willys Jeep from, I want to say 1963, something like that. And there's a lot of people around this area, like in the last 5 years, that have seen it and were super nostalgic for it. My understanding is it's the same thing with like VHS tapes or vinyls or whatever else. Everybody had that vehicle, and then everybody threw it out,
Yes, exactly.
and now everybody wants one.
Willys, what is it?
Yeah,
It's a kind of
it's a
vehicle.
kind of Jeep
Yeah.
from the '60s.
Oh,
And he was telling me that now the value seems to be going down because now the people that would be nostalgic for it are either less interested or dying.
Yeah.
And he was like, collectible cars from 20 years ago, nobody wants them now.
Yep.
He's like, because the people who cared died.
Yeah. They're gone.
do you think there's like a dip, and eventually there'll be like the next generation?
I mean,
will-
it has to be infused with meaning from somewhere.
like from your own youth, like when you were a kid and you like
something. I mean, for some reason, you have to care about wanting to see the thing again.
Yep.
For some reason, you need to want to smell the thing again and do the thing again.
Yeah.
You'd have to have that for. You can't be nostalgic for someone else. Be like, I bet my dad would like this. And like, that's not going to drive a lot of purchase.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I thought there'll always be people who like the idea of the 60s or the idea of the 50s, without ever having experienced it. But you're right that the volume of it's going to go way down.
Yeah.
I think it's going to happen with like old video games too. I think as like as Gloria's generation comes up, they're not going to be interested in NES and SNES games.
no.
or the style of
Yeah, because there was. I mean, we always talk about how retro video games were not very valuable for a very long time.
Yeah, they were. I used to go to like Funko Land and buy 20 of them for
Yeah.
$17.
And then there was kind of a value boom where everybody wanted to play them again, or the specific cartridges again. And I wonder if now it's taking another dip. And
we're heading back down,
Yeah.
especially because a lot of those things have become so accessible in other ways too.
I also think that the value of those were driven probably by a lot of YouTube content. It was like a lot of people were viewing these games, talking about these games. You were seeing a lot of game rooms and content.
Yeah.
And you were like,
Yeah.
oh, wow, I'd like to own a little piece of that. And so bringing it back to Halloween, I think Halloween itself, the season,
Yeah.
is like a nostalgic thing. And I think that drives a lot of parents to be like, I want to do a big costume thing, or I want to do a big event, or I want to bring you to something. But again, from our youth, that also comes with Ecto Cooler and Boo Berry and Count Chocula.
Yep.
And McDonald's pumpkin pails. I cut to a clip of McDonald's pumpkin pails on the on one of the Treats episodes that we did, and somebody was like, "Thank you so much for reminding me that existed."
Yeah.
Or the "I like to eat the peanut butter first" commercial.
Something spooky going on at McDonald's.
Something spooky at McDonald's.
Flash frying everything.
Not Halloween related, but I always think poor McDonald's, because they got stigmatized for being so bad for our health first.
Yeah.
And nobody else has really caught the shit the same way that they have. When
No,
everybody's
no.
equally as bad.
Why do you
Yeah.
think that is?
I think that they were
were the
probably-
biggest,
They were
yeah.
the biggest. It's sort of like in the same way Walmart catches shit and Dollar General doesn't.
Yeah.
You know, it's like,
Or Target doesn't. Target's not that much worse of a company than Walmart.
yeah. And I just always find that interesting when it's like they go after kind of one.
Yeah, the biggest one gets the target is
Yeah.
the target.
We hate big business.
Yeah.
And in this case,
Yell at
Target
the
is not
biggest
Target.
one.
What's the saying? The squeakiest wheel gets the oil first.
The squeakiest Walmart.
Squeaky
Gets the-
Squeaky Wheel gets the grease, but it's not quite apt here.
No, because that means that they would get preferential treatment
Yeah.
for being so loud.
Well,
and
they're
annoying.
noticed first because they're so